What is going on, everybody? So in the past 2 to 3 years, I've seen budget M cars appreciate massively in value, and not to my surprise. So in this video, we're going to be talking about more specifically why the E39 M5 has increased in value and why they will continue to further increase in value to maybe a point where we can't even afford them. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the car we're referencing today is none other than the 2001 BMW M5. Now we're using the 2001 BMW M5 because this is when the car got its LCI facelift. Now this facelift concluded of a new redesigned bumper which now has fog lights. BMW also put their signature BMW angel headlights with the rings. They look absolutely incredible. Set the whole of the car up. At the rear of the car, as you can see in this photo, absolutely love the rear tail lights. I think they did a fantastic job, of making them small adjustments, but it really did make a big difference. Now in the interior department, as you can see in this photo, they added a new steering wheel, which you could also find in the E36 M3 and then E46 M3. It's a lot chunkier steering wheel, and it was far better than the previous steering wheel, which was really big and chunky. They also changed the background on the instrument display from black to grey, also like the E46 M3. And they also added a new M gear lever. And they also increased the size of the navigation system. All small changes that all led up to a big difference. I really do dig. Now we're using this generation M5 because I've seen the biggest increase in value of these specific cars. The BMW, the E39 M5 was produced from 1998 to 2003. Now the 2001 is where it got its facelift. And which obviously continued to 2002 and 2003. Now, if you count the years, this means only the M5 was produced for only 5 years. Now, this is really not a long time. I mean, this is considering the outgoing M5, the F10, was mass produced for over 7 years. Short span of 5 years, over 20,000 BMW M5s were made. Now, this is not a big number because you have to bear in mind as the years go on, people will crash their cars into lampposts, sell the cars for parts, cars will rust, anything could happen. So these numbers really do, drop down. Using a trusty website I was given called How Rare Is My Car, I found out there were only 431 BMW M5s in the UK or Europe. Something like that. Now that is not a big number because you also have to bear in mind, that number doesn't hold much significance because on Auto Trader there are only 12 M5s for sale. Now, don't fear, I have not lost the point of the video. The number of cars on the road is massively significant because it didn't take a dummy to realize, the less there is of something, the more value it will hold, because anyone who likes that thing, will know worth of the car or the object, and they'll be willing to pay a lot more for it. Yeah, so there are a lot less M5s on the road now. Now, as you can also see on Auto Trader, there's a wide range of M5s, in terms of pricing. There are 2001 M5s, going on for 10 grand, 11 grand, then there's one that shots up to 20 grand, and then there is one for 40 grand. Why is this? Because simply condition, mileage. If you have an M5 with about 60,000 miles and you keep it in good condition, you really could make a massive profit on the car. But don't worry about buying 100,000 mile M5. Just get the bodywork mint condition, get the engine redone, suspension. Make sure the car is rust free, and a car enthusiast will see that. There's a reason why this generation M5 has had such an increase in desirability is the engine. Now, if you didn't know, the M5 has a Goliath 4.9 litre V8 engine, which is naturally aspirated, meaning that all that power comes from the crank. There's no turbochargers, superchargers, twin scroll, twin turbos to give this thing power. The power is pure engine, nothing more, nothing less. And what power it is, we're talking 400 brake horsepower, about 390 newton meters of foot-pounds of torque, sorry. Now this means you get power instantly. There is no lag, turbo lag. Now this is extremely important in for car enthusiasts, because no turbos mean louder sound. This car revs up to a monstrous 7,500 RPM, but I mean, a German car manufacturer, manual, V8, big displacement, what is not to love? So I mean, this is what gave the M5 its biggest appeal. A crazy red line, 7,500, 4.9 litre V8, 400 brake horsepower, and a manual transmission. The control you have in that car is incredible. People will kill and die, just to have a manual transmission in their super saloons now. Since the M5 E39, there's been no M5 that's had, well, in the UK or Europe, that's had a manual transmission. America, kind of lucky, they got the V10 M5 with manual transmissions, the F10, but again, it's a very expensive option for manual. I still believe it should be an option to have automatic gearbox with the flappy paddles, and manual should just be outright stock, but that's just me. Now, between these times when the car was made, ABS, traction control, they were all new features to cars, so it wasn't 3-step traction control or ABS and stuff like that. It was the button. You press the simple DSC button on an M5, traction control is entirely off. And I'm not talking about half off, like it's peaking, like I'm here but I'm not here, I'm not here but I'm not here. I'm talking about it's gone. Traction is off. If the car spins, it's going to continue skidding until you stop it. Now this is truly amazing, because nowadays, we get cars that you can't even take traction control off. It's always on. So yeah, people who drive the M5, all they ever talk about, is the driving experience, and it truly is amazing. There was no artificial weight or feel in the wheel. I have been in one, and I can tell you, when I went in my uncle's M5 E39 years back, I was too young to even remember. I could hardly remember it, but I remember being in the back seat and he gave it a little throttle, and I was just pinned to my seat, and I was like, what is this car? Back then I didn't know about the M5s and stuff like that. I didn't know about cars, to be honest. But yeah, and also it's so understated. If you didn't know about cars, you could not tell the difference between that and a 520i or something like that. So yeah, it's truly remarkable what BMW did to that car. Now, not to bore any of you amazing people with facts and figures, but I really do think you guys should take a look at the figures I'm going to show you on your screen. Now here is the difference between the outgoing BMW M5 F10 and then our older E39 M5. And as you can see, in terms of dimensions, the M5 E39 is far lighter, shorter in wheelbase, and just shorter in dimension. Now I want to talk about the wheelbase, as the M5 F10 is a super long car. I would say it's probably near about the size of an old 7 Series, which is absolutely crazy to think about, because it's supposed to be a 5-seater saloon, not a yacht. So I know I have gotten a bit of a video, and you're probably thinking, I thought he said we're going to see why the car has increased in value. Now, adding all what I've said into consideration, the driving experience and everything, you have to bear in mind, who is going to pay, say £50,000 or £40,000 for that M5 on Auto Trader? Is it going to be someone who wants a quiet driving experience, someone who wants good fuel economy, someone who wants a safe family car, Who? None of them. The person who's going to buy that M5 is an out and right car enthusiast, and that person will be willing to pay an arm and a leg to get, you know, that old raw driving experience back. You know, that feel that, you know, if I go too fast into a corner, I'm going to die and go off the cliff or hit into a lamppost and ruin my really nice M5. So if you are looking to buy a car and make a future investment, you know, you have to look at your audience. Just like anything else, you need to look for an audience. You know, if you want a car that's gonna, you know, appreciate massively in value, like the M5 E39, who's gonna buy it? Definitely someone who's into cars and is willing to deal with, you know, the awful fuel economy and, you know, how quickly it eats oil, the massive brakes, the massive tires, the awful ride quality. Because when that person puts their foot down, that is all that matters. So that is exactly why the M5 E39 is going to increase in value, and I seriously believe come 4 to 6 years this car will be an 80 grand stroke 90 grand car. We are now heading into a time of autonomous driving, electric cars, you know, and to be frank, that absolutely terrifies me. You know, I want, you know, to be able to hear my car, you know, accelerate down, even if it's not fast. You know, speed doesn't matter, you know, it's all about the sound, the ambience of the car. My car, you know, the looks of the car, everything, you know, how dangerous the car is. You know, you cannot respect a car that isn't going to kill you. That's just it. Think about it, like Jason Statham. Why does everyone respect him? Because they know if they don't respect him, he's gonna kick them in their mouth and break every single one of their bones. That's like a car. You know, you can't respect a car that isn't gonna hurt you or kick back, you know, when you push it too far. And yeah, that's it. So guys, for this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with one friend at least, guys. I really want to see I really want to hit that 100 mark by the end of the year, and I know you guys can do it. I know you. First video of 2018. How did you find it? Do you like the extra editing I added, the cutbacks and all that? But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go. If you have any cars, any suggestions of cars you want me to talk about, whether it's a Nissan Micra, which you're interested in insurance or something like that, or a Lamborghini Aventador, McLaren P1, or it's a super old car, you know, I will find everything out about that car and I will put that video out for you. So yeah, do not be shy. I'm going to see you for the next video, which will be next week because I'm uploading weekly now. So be sure to press that bell button so you get my notifications. See you for another one. Goodbye.